Hare Krishna, everybody. Good morning. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, which is entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna, and we are reading text 21. Swayamtva asamyatishayastriyadishaha Swayamtva asamyatishayastriyadishaha Swarajyagalakshmi apta samastakamaha Balim haradbhishchiralokapalai Kirita koti edita padapitaha Swayam tva asamyatishayastriyadishaha Swarajya Lakshmi apta samastakamaha Balim haradbhishchiralokapalai Kirita koti edita padapitaha Okay, word for word. Swayam, himself. Tu, but. Asamya, unique. Atishayaha, greater. Tri Adishaha, Lord of the Three. Swarajya, independent supremacy. Lakshmi, fortune. Apta, achieved. Samastakamaha, all desires. Balim, worshipping paraphernalia. Haradbi, offered by. Hiralokapalai, by the eternal maintainers of the order of creation. Kirita koti, millions of helmets. Edita padapitaha, feet honored by prayers. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme by achievement of all kinds of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. Please repeat. Lord Sri Krishna, is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme by achievement of all kinds of fortune. He is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna is so mild and merciful as described in the above verses, and yet he is the Lord of all kinds of threes. He is the Supreme Lord of the three worlds, the three qualities of material nature, and the three Purushas, Karanodakashai, Garbhodakashai, and Shirodakashai Vishnu. There are innumerable universes, and in each and every universe there are different manifestations of Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Besides that, there is the Seshamurti, who bears all the universes on his hoods, and Lord Krishna is the Lord of all of them. As the incarnation of Manu, he is the original source of all Manus in innumerable universes. Each universe has manifestations of 504 Manus. He is the Lord of the three principal potencies, namely Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, and Tatashta Shakti, and he is the complete master of 6 kinds of fortune: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. There is none who can excel him in any matter of enjoyment, and certainly there is no one greater than him. No one is equal to or greater than him. It is the duty of everyone, whoever and wherever one may be, to surrender completely unto him. It is not wonderful, therefore, that all the transcendental controllers surrender to him and make all offerings of worship. Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Shrimati Krishna Kusamante Namo Krishna Padaya Krishna Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati. So I seek the blessings of all the devotees that I can speak something that is beneficial to all of us and that can penetrate our hearts so we can have a change of heart and go further in surrendering to Krishna. So in this purport, Prabhupada mentions, so the chapter is entitled Remembrance of Lord Krishna. So here, Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam mentions that Lord Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of trees. So he mentions some, there's 3 Adishaha. So Lord, like we have Premanjali's father, his name is Trayadish Prabhu. So the Lord of the 3 worlds. So we know that the worlds are divided into 3 categories: the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. So Krishna is the Lord of all these, all the worlds. So 3 Loka Pati, so Lord of the 3 worlds. And it's also mentioned that he is the Lord of the 3 Guna avatars, and also the 3 avatars of the 3 Purusha avatars. So the 3 Guna avatars, or the qualities who are in charge of the different qualities of material nature. We have Lord Brahma, who is in charge of the mode of creation, of passion. So in order to create something, you need passion. Just like a married couple, when they want to have a child, it's not that, they're just in the mode of goodness and just, going home. There has to be some passion, like Urmila Mataji in one class, she said. So he is in charge of the mode of passion. And then we have Lord Shiva, who is in charge of the mode of ignorance. So when it's the time of annihilation at the end of the worlds, then he comes in and he has his agents who assist him in annihilating or destroying the world. And we have Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of the mode of goodness. Yes, so we know even, I remember one class, Ramai Swami was mentioning that it's very easy to create, people build things or they have some idea. It's very easy to come up with all these ideas. And it's also very easy to annihilate or destroy. Just like you have a demolition comes and then they have a big, like a ball, and then it smashes into the building. Or the kids when they're playing and they build like a house with blocks and then they destroy it. So it's very easy to create and destroy. But the hardest thing, even we experience in our own life, is maintenance. Even just in the home, to try to keep everything neat and tidy and clean. It's an ongoing thing. So creation and annihilation, it can be something that's one-off. But for maintenance, it's an ongoing thing. That's why the mode of goodness is required. And that's why it's even a scientific thing that we can understand that Lord Vishnu is in charge of all the three guna avatars, because the potency of maintenance is one of the most, you could say that it requires a lot of work, and one needs to be established in a mode of goodness in order to maintain. So that's why Prabhupada has given us these 4 principles as enunciated in the scriptures. That's the 4 principles are no meat eating, and who can name some other ones? No intoxication. Do you know some, Sarah? Yes, no illicit sex, thank you. And no gambling. So there's a science behind that, because if no meat eating, it's related to the quality of compassion. If one eats meat, they can't develop that quality of compassion. That, nowadays there's many groups that save the whales and things like that. But if you see, are all the members vegetarians or vegans? You want to save the whale, but then you want to eat a chicken or a pig or things like that. So it's based on sentimentality. The real mode of goodness, which is above the material mode of goodness, the Shuddha Sattva, then one understands everything in relationship with God, in relationship with Krishna, and one consults with the scriptures and the devotees of the Lord who are practicing, and the spiritual master, the one who one has taken formal guidance from. So in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that Krishna is independently supreme, and he is the Lord of the 3 potencies, which is the Chit Shakti, or the internal potency of the Lord, the internal energy, which is eternal, and then the Maya Shakti, which is the external energy of the Lord, material nature, and Tatashta Shakti. So the living entities, we fall into the middle, the Tatashta Shakti. So we always have a choice whether we're going to choose the internal energy, Krishna's energy, or we're going to choose the external material energy, which is the consciousness of that Maya Shakti on our mind, is that we want to do everything for our own enjoyment. Even if it's things like philanthropic work, it's thinking about, for my country, I am serving these poor people. So there's still some degree of sense of self there, like self-interest, thank you, in that. But when we do everything for Krishna, that same principle of philanthropy can be applied, but in a Krishna conscious way, just like in ISKCON we have these Food for Life programs. So during COVID, the Govardhan Eco Village in India, they were making huge pots and pots. They have like a big, like a catering kitchen, and there's a video if you want to Google it, Govardhan Eco Village food relief program. And they were cooking so much food, but it's not just ordinary food or philanthropic work where you're feeding someone, but they offer that food to Krishna, and that food becomes blessed. And there's a difference between vegetarianism and eating prasadam, because even the monkeys are vegetarian, but they are having illicit sex all the time. Their consciousness is not developed to inquire about their purpose in life. Who is God? Who am I? And what is my relationship with God? What purpose can I, what goal do I have in this life while I'm in this body, that I can move closer to God? So at the end of the purport, it mentions that one should surrender to Him, because He is the controller of all living entities, and offer worship to Him. And it's mentioned in this purport, and also in many other scriptures in Bhagavad Gita as well, that Krishna is the complete master, and He has 6 kinds of fortune or opulences. He has complete wealth, complete strength, complete fame, complete beauty, complete knowledge and complete renunciation. So we see in the world there's many rich people, like sometimes we have the actors and actresses, they are very rich. But if they, or even someone who wins the lottery, for example, but that money runs out. Or someone who's very beautiful, and then we see a picture of some actors and actresses. Now it's very famous on Facebook. These ads come up and say, oh, look at this actor, how they looked before and how they look now. So whereas with Krishna, it's eternal. His beauty never fades. He's always famous. He's so powerful that it's not that he has these humongous big fat muscles. You know, sometimes people, they work out and they take steroids and their body looks like, oh my God. And then they can lift heavy weights. But Krishna, he's so beautiful. He has a beautiful threefold bending form, has beautiful hips and beautiful body, and he can lift. He was only 7 years old and he lifted a great big mountain, the Govardhan hill. He lifted with the pinky of his left hand. Why do they mention the pinky of the left hand? Because usually people are right-handed. Yes, that's right. Thank you, Sarah. So that's one of, yes, so that's the weakest. So it's showing that Krishna doesn't need anything outside of himself to do anything. He doesn't need to study, even though in Krishna book it says that he went to the school of his teacher Sandipani Muni to learn all this knowledge, and he learned it in, how many days was it? 64 days? Yes, 64 days, thank you Manivanda Prabhu. He learned all the 64 arts like hairdressing, physiognomy, looking at someone and you can tell their nature just by looking. That's a science. And astronomy, psychology. He learned all this, but he didn't have to learn it, but he's showing by his personal example that even God, when he comes to the earth, he's showing that we need to also take instruction and guidance and take the humble position and learn from someone. So in Krishna book, chapter 14, there's the prayers offered by Lord Brahma to Krishna. So before I mention that, Prabhupada mentions in the purport about the helmets, that all these great lokapalas or maintenance of the whole creation, they worship Krishna. So the example, it's so inconceivable, but how we can try to understand a little bit, Prabhupada gives the example like there's a big sack, and in that sack there are mustard seeds. And each mustard seed is so tiny, and that tiny mustard seed is one universe. And we try to understand that we on this planet Earth, and there are many other planets that even we haven't explored this vast universe. And so in these planets, and then we have this one universe. And even the scientists haven't discovered what's underneath the earth. There's a description in Bhagavatam of this fish, which is called Timingila, that can swallow a whole whale. So, there's these eagles that come from a different planet that can carry away a big elephant into the sky and take it away. So it may seem fantastical, but there's things in this world, even there's a fish that has a lamp on it, and they've discovered it. If you look on National Geography, there's a built-in lamp, it's amazing, Krishna's creation. So there are things that exist that are beyond our imagination, even in this world. So why do we doubt that there's something else when it's given in the scriptures, authorized knowledge, that there's even knowledge, vast knowledge beyond us? So it's mentioned that so our universe has the Lord Brahma. So I'll just read this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 2170 translation, it's talking about, just prior to this, in Krishna book, it's when one day Lord Nectar of Devotion, Lord Brahma, our Lord Brahma, he wanted to see Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, and he went at the doorway, and then he asked the guard, can you please inform Krishna that I would like to see him? And then the doorman, he went to Krishna, and then Krishna said, ask him which Lord Brahma is he. And then he came back and he asked Lord Brahma. And then Lord Brahma was saying, of course it's me, the four-headed Brahma. So then he went in, and then Krishna called him in, and then he bowed down and he says, I have a question for you, Krishna. Why did you ask which Lord Brahma? Aren't I the creator of this universe, the only one, Lord Brahma? And Krishna, he just smiled, and then all of a sudden, because he desired it, there were all these different Brahmas that came from all the different universes. And some of them didn't even just have 4 heads, some had 10 heads, some had hundreds of heads and millions of heads. So we can see that in our universe, there's a Brahma who has 4 heads to create, so he needs that intelligence. But in other universes, there's a Brahma who's in charge of creation, and he has so many heads, so we can't conceive of what kind of universal creation, had the engineer. Lord Brahma is the engineer. So imagine the engineer who has so many heads, what creation there is. It's inconceivable. So in this translation it says, all the Brahmas who came to see Krishna offered their respects at his lotus feet, and when they did this, their helmets touched his lotus feet. And then further in text 72 of that same chapter, it says, when all the helmets struck together at Krishna's lotus feet, there was a tumultuous sound. It appeared that the helmets themselves were offering prayers unto Krishna's lotus feet. And in chapter 24, Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, text 271, it's giving what falling down like a rod means. So there's this term called danda vat. So danda means a rod. Sometimes we have the gurus, they carry rods, which is a danda, and vat means like. So we see the men, the prabhus, they fall like a rod when they're paying obeisances, like full body. That's showing their surrender and humility to the Lord. So even these great personalities who are great engineers of the world or in charge of different areas like the god, the wind god, the sun god, all of them, they all paying respects to Krishna. It's saying that there's many millions of Lord Brahmas, many Lord Shivas, and Lord Indras, they all came to see Krishna. So in Krishna book, chapter 14, there's the prayers offered by Lord Brahma to Krishna, and Lord Brahma saying, whatever is attractive within the cosmic manifestation is due to Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure. The active principle of everything is Krishna, and highly elevated transcendentalists see everything in connection with Krishna, active principle in all movable and immovable living entities. So just like the example of the philanthropic work, if it's just done just as a mode of goodness or something good to do, good deeds to others, yes, there is some benefit, but then it doesn't help the person progress further and get out of this cycle of birth and death in the material world. Because we understand from Bhagavad Gita where it says, Brahma Bhuvana Loka. So in this world, there's a verse which says that even if you go up to the heavenly planets or planets that are higher than the heavenly planets, some of them, or sub-heavenly planets, even though the opulence is so great, you don't have like suffering that we have here, but we still, all our pious credit is finished up, just like you have a bank account and you use up all your money, so we have a karma account. So we have good deeds and bad deeds, and then even if we do so many good things, but if it's not in connection with Krishna, it's still binding, and we'll have to come back again and again on the Ferris wheel. How many times do we want to take birth in this world, go through a baby body, and go through childhood and go through all the mental stuff, the emotional and the physical things. But this process of Krishna consciousness is, it takes out it's a loophole. It's something that, it's a diamond that's getting us out of this material world. We take this treasure and we apply it in our life, and we can get out of this cycle of birth and death. And then we go to the eternal kingdom of the Lord. And it says in Bhagavad Gita that there is a banyan tree that is upside down, where the roots are upwards and the branches are downwards. So where can we see that in the material world? Where the roots are up and the branches are down. That's right, thank you, Tamika. Yes, so in a reflection, if there's a tree at the riverside, and then you look at that reflection of the tree in the river, then the tree appears that the roots are upside down. So it's described that in the material world, whatever we see here is a reflection of the spiritual world, but the difference is that it's perverted. It's not pure. Just like in the spiritual world, the highest, like in the material world, we have like a husband and wife, and if one of them is having an affair, it's the most abominable thing, if someone is having an illicit relationship. But in the spiritual world, Krishna has so many girlfriends, and the wives of other men, he's dancing with them. So that is, someone may say in the material world, if you see that, then you say, oh, that person is, a debauchee, or, things like that. But Krishna, in the spiritual world, that's the highest. So we can't conceive of it unless we purify our heart. And how do we purify our heart? Is by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And eating sanctified food that is offered to Krishna, because that blessed food, it takes us out of the cycle of birth and death. So we can eat healthy prasadam, that's good for our body. So everyone's body is different, and we need to adjust our diet accordingly. But the principle remains. The detail of the prasadam is different, of the food that's offered to the Lord. But the principle is that food is offered to Krishna. Just like in China, they eat with their chopsticks, and they may eat noodles, but they offer that to Krishna, so that is prasadam. Or in Italy, they may have their pizzas and things like that. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's sanctioned by the Lord, that it's food in the mode of goodness. He doesn't say he eats meat and things like that, fish and eggs. But there's description, he eats wholesome foods like vegetables and fruits. So we can cook that and offer to the Lord, and then we can eat that. And then Prabhupada also mentions about one should dress like a lady and a gentleman. So, doesn't mean one, of course, when we come to the temple, there's that culture and tradition of wearing like a sari or a dhoti or kurta. But the principle behind that is that one should dress like a gentleman and have the consciousness of God, of Krishna. So one dresses up chaste. So a gentle lady is someone who's dressing up chaste, her body is covered. She's not exposing her cleavage or her legs, or, short things like, her thighs are showing. And for men, they are gentlemen as well. When you come to the temple, sometimes, because we are working community, we are farm community, the Prabhus, they wear their clean pants, when they come and they're working out. Like Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, he goes out and works with the bulls. He does the bullock training program, and we have some of the ladies, Smita goes, and she's in her work clothes, wearing her pants and going out and assisting Krishna Kirtan Prabhu with the bulls. So the details of the externally may be different, but the principle is that one should be chaste, or the consciousness should be for the service of the Lord, and one should be dressed as a lady or a gentleman. So all these things, there's many instructions, so one can take it, not take it in the proper understanding, and that's why we have the devotees or the sadhus, and then we have the spiritual master, the one we have taken formal guidance from, the guru, and we have the scriptures. So all these three things are important, because even though sometimes we understand the principle of etiquette, where if someone is senior, we show them respect and we honor them, we listen to them, but at the same time, age and number of years is not the basis of one's progress or advancement in Krishna consciousness. We can tell someone also by their practice and by the words that come out of their mouth. So of course we do respect everyone, but we need to also understand ourselves, the scriptures. It's not that we blindly follow and we say, oh, that person was in the movement for 40 years or 50 years. And we don't know, God knows what they're doing sometimes. Someone may be, having illicit relationship or something like that, or they're not fully practicing. Then we need to understand that. And at the same time, no matter what someone's past is, even if they've had a fall down or whatever, we see, are they practicing now? Are they sincerely trying to follow Prabhupada? Then we forget about the past and we look at the present and we apply this knowledge. So also, Prabhupada mentions at the end, it says that all the transcendental controllers surrender to him and make all offerings of worship. So when pilgrims or when people come to the temple or devotees come to the temple, what is our purpose? Why are we coming to the temple? So Srila Prabhupada, he's established these, is it the 7 principles of ISKCON? How many? Is it 7 or 10? How many principles of ISKCON? The 7, yes. They're the 7 principles of ISKCON. So we understand the purpose of why we're coming to the temple. So why do we come to the temple? Who can say one of the reasons, Sarah? Yes, that's right. To worship, association of devotees, and to pray. So when we come to the temple, we see, yes, we come and associate with the devotees, but we need to see what is the quality of that association. During class, are we going and hanging out outside and talking about our day and our week? Or are we respecting that we're coming to the temple? It's class time, let's take advantage of it and hear what is being said, because it's for all of our benefit. And then when we're having prasadam, we can discuss these topics. When we can catch up with our friends anytime, and yes, it's nice to ask about how things are going, how's your family, things like that. But we always connect it back to Krishna. So take advantage of coming to the temple. We associate devotees, but look at the quality of that association. Let's come for class. Let's, when we eat prasadam, we honor prasadam in the association of devotees. And when we come to the temple, we bring something to offer to the Lord. So we bring a gift, or we offer prayers to the Lord. And we come for class, we're learning about Krishna, that's our main focus, and associating with the devotees in the proper consciousness. In the Nectar of Devotion, it says one should come to the temple with a consciousness, Krishna consciousness, so that we understand that what is my purpose of coming here. And it's mentioned there that so this culture of giving, we see that some devotees, they have dedicated their life or some of their life to serving the Lord. So we have many people who are volunteering their service here. We have devotees who are addressing the Lord, devotees and volunteers who are doing gardening, working with the bulls, things like that. And then we also have paid services like working in the school, and they're working in a devotee school, or working in the Govindas, the devotee restaurant. But then we also take out some time where we're not doing work that is paid, but we're doing it voluntarily, because that purifies us as well. Because even though we work, we may say we're working in the devotee school, or we're working in a devotee restaurant, or we're working in a devotee business, then it's always, there's some mixture there. It's not purely service to Krishna, because we're also taking something for that. So it depends on the consciousness of the person. If everything they do in their life is service to Krishna, so they may be working, they're buying food, cooking at home, they have a little altar at home and they offer to Krishna. So we always need to see there's that net, the catch, the protective net, that we may be home and we may be doing our things, but we come to the temple because that way we are in the association of devotees and we get to hear things that, oh, I can do this to correct myself, to correct my consciousness, and associate with devotees, I can do some service. So when we come to the temple, we take the opportunity to do some service. The service of hearing class, the service of chopping vegetables, of cleaning outside the temple. There's one volunteer, he's taking out all the weeds in between the bricks, and that's like hard work in the sun. There's so many service opportunities, and it says in Nectar of Devotion that one should come and offer gifts according to one's capacity. So Krishna, he doesn't really accept it's not that he needs anything, like we bring some flowers or something. He doesn't need that from us. But when we give something with love and devotion, then he accepts it and he takes notice of us. Just like the example sometimes devotees mention is that when the father gives his child a lolly, a sweet, and that child sucks on it and then he remembers, oh, he takes it out of his mouth and he offers it to his father. So his father is thinking, I paid for the sweet, I gave it to him, but he's giving it back to me. So that love, he'll feel so much love and, oh, my son, and hug him and kiss him like that. So, Krishna doesn't need anything from us. There's a description in the scriptures which says that Krishna has millions of goddesses of fortune, that's Lakshmi Devi, who are serving him. So what does he need from us? But when we serve him with love, we try to offer him the best quality of things and the best of the consciousness that we can give to Krishna. Then he notices that. He notices the devotion and the intention and the love behind our offering. At the same time, we give according to our capacity. It's not that, someone has so much money and they own so many properties and they come to the temple and just come and eat and then go. If someone has so much money they're spending to go on holidays, hundreds of thousands of dollars, then why not give something to Krishna also? It's for our benefit that we're giving to Krishna, not for anyone else. And it's not a show either. It's not to show others, look, I'm giving. But we give in our heart something that someone needs. It's like Prabhupada, when his disciples would give him gifts, but he would also give those gifts out. So we find out what someone needs. Sometimes people want to give gifts, or sometimes maybe there's a housewarming or something, and people want to get rid of things in their house. So that is not proper. That's not the mode of goodness, charity, or giving. We need to see what does Krishna want. It's not that sometimes, like in India, they have these packages where they have like cheap cloth, like synthetic, and it looks very beautiful, but it's like a rectangle or a square, and sometimes guests come and they leave it there. But they need to understand, if they went to someone's house, or they're giving a wedding gift, are they going to give something cheap like that? So you come to the Lord and say, oh God, Krishna, give me a nice wife, give me a nice husband, give me a fancy car, give me good education, give me this, give me that. But then what are you giving to Krishna, What are we giving to him? Are we giving our full surrender to him, to the capacity that we can give? Are we trying to purify our heart? He's seeing what is hiding behind our back. So, of course we need to maintain our family. People have children, they need to maintain that. But make something nice offering to Krishna. Bring nice wholesome fruits, some vegetables, or find out from the kitchen cooks or in charge, like in the DT department, what they need. Like Premanjali, she had come back from India, her last trip, and she had inquired from Riti Mataji what she can buy for the DT. She bought these beautiful sashes, these big cloths. The ladies, we use that as a veil, like the one that Sarah's wearing. So she asked what we need for the deities, and she bought these beautiful cloths. And the pujaris are so happy. We're using it all the time for the Lord, and it looks so beautiful. So we also find out what is useful and beneficial to someone. It's not that we give useless gifts so that we say, oh, I gave something, But what is the consciousness and the quality of that gift? So we also come to the temple, we come with that consciousness. No one sees, that's only between us and Krishna. So if we do that, we're only cheating ourselves. So of course everyone has different levels, different capacity, but look at our individual self and see what can I do that I can improve the quality of my service, if not quantity, because obviously everyone has different capacities and different health abilities according to one's health. So we always try to do our best for Krishna, just like Radhika Mataji, she was giving class the other day, Madhava Prabhu's wife, and she was saying, when someone says we're trying to serve Krishna, that means not really, it doesn't matter if you don't succeed, but when you give our best, it changes, it shifts the consciousness. The power of words it actually shifts the consciousness. So if we say we give our best, then of course we will make an effort to try to give Krishna our best. And if we say, oh, I'm trying, but yeah, just very casual about it, then also, Krishna says here, Prabhupada starts with, Krishna is so mild and merciful. But we even see in a relationship, a father, he has so many children. And the child that really is obedient, is loving, who serves the father, then naturally that affection for that child is there, even though the father has affection for all the children, even the one that's rude and disrespectful. But at the same time, of course, it's a natural principle that one will feel affection for the one that's giving love, and so Krishna is also like that, he gives, in the Bhagavad Gita it says, to the degree of one's surrender, to that degree I reciprocate. So why is it that we deny Krishna a personality? Why do we make Krishna impersonal, that, oh, I'll just do this much and I'll just be casual, keep on going, like Radhika Mataji said. We may be chanting for so many lifetimes. She was quoting from a book, I think, called Prema Vivarta by Jagadananda Pandit, and she was saying that in there he mentions about we may be chanting for many lifetimes but we will not make any progress. So why are we chanting? The meaning of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. It's saying, my dear Lord, please engage me in your service. So if we come into the temple just when it's kirtan and we want to lead kirtan, and that's the only time we're coming for the Lord, then we question it. Of course, we don't want to judge anyone, but we question, what is the quality of my chanting if I'm not if I'm not changing, if I'm not actually making an effort to come and see the Lord, come for the morning program at least once a week even, or once a fortnight, once a month, do some voluntary service, or am I just coming every time there's a festival or just that and just coming for kirtan? Then we need to, it's for ourselves, we need to question ourselves. So what is the quality of my chanting if there's no change of heart? If there's no desire to try to improve myself so I can serve Krishna and serve the devotees. If we become complacent and comfortable in our own thing, okay, I'm initiated, or I was born in the movement, or I've been here for 40 years, and I come to the temple and that. But there's always room for improvement, room for growth, and deepening our Krishna consciousness. Of course, it's not all external. It's an internal process. It doesn't sometimes show externally, but there are symptoms of the external symptoms that do manifest physically. So I'll end there. I'll just, if anyone has any questions, comments, corrections. Okay, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavin ki jai.